Thank you for the grace of heaven and the virtues of our teachers. Thank you for the compassion from above, allowing this junior student to have the chance to come and share and report this class with all of you, the wisdom inspired by mind and thoughts. The wisdom inspired by mind and thoughts. Dear senior worthies, wisdom is something that is inspired from within me, whereas cleverness comes from learning externally. So, dear senior worthies, how do we let our wisdom fully manifest? It completely depends on the inspiration of our mind and thoughts. Therefore, this junior student has organized the compassionate Dharma words from the Immortals and Buddhas, and let us explore them together. 1. When you smile, it is just like the sun shining universally, warming the earth. Dear senior worthies, a smile makes everyone who sees it feel very comfortable. So every one of our smiles should be like 10-10. Dear senior worthies, 10-10, let's look at the clock, the lips at 10-10, the smile at 10-10, everyone loves it very much. So the Immortals and Buddhas compassionately tell us, when you smile, it is just like the sun compassionately warming the earth, so everyone who sees you loves you. Therefore, dear senior worthies, please remember, we must at all times be able to bring light to sentient beings, bring warmth to sentient beings, just like the sun, shining universally and warming the earth. Let us return to the text and continue exploring. 2. When you are angry, it is just like dark clouds covering the sky and overshadowing the earth. Dear senior worthies, when you are angry, the Immortals and Buddhas compassionately tell us, it is just like dark clouds blocking the sun and covering the earth. Dear senior worthies, please look, if the sky is completely darkened with clouds, everyone feels quite worried, quite scared, especially now in this Dharma-ending age, when the heavenly timing is urgent, extreme weather happens very often, in broad daylight, suddenly thick clouds gather, even completely blocking the sun, so dark that you can't see your hand in front of your face, everyone becomes extremely nervous. So the Immortals and Buddhas compassionately tell us, when we are angry, when we are full of snide, it is just like dark clouds covering the sun, overshadowing the earth. So we just mentioned that smiling is 10-10, then when angry, it's just like looking at 7:25 on the clock. Dear senior worthies, please look, 7:25, that angry face makes everyone feel very uncomfortable. Whereas the smiling face at 10:10 makes everyone feel very comfortable. Let us return to the text and continue exploring. 3. When you perform good deeds, it is just like a clear spring flowing through, pure and cooling. Dear senior worthies, when we do good deeds, it is just like a clear spring. Look, on a very hot day, if a clear spring flows by, everyone who sees it feels extremely comfortable. So every day we should at least, like Boy Scouts, do at least one good deed a day. Therefore, when we are performing good deeds, the Immortals and Buddhas compassionately tell us, it is just like a clear spring flowing through, pure and cooling, making this indifferent earth extremely clear and looking very comfortable. And similarly, when we do good deeds, we also let the cold hearts of sentient beings feel warmth, feel comfort, just like a clear spring flowing through, everyone feels extremely comfortable. Let us return to the text and continue exploring. 4. When you fight and grasp, it is just like jackals, wolves, tigers, and leopards, fierce and detestable. Dear senior worthies, we are already walking the path of studying, cultivating, lecturing, and handling Tao affairs. When we watch the Animal Channel and see those carnivorous animals fighting for food, everyone's heart tightens up, it looks so heartbreaking, so unbearable. The immortals and Buddhas compassionately tell us, oh, when we in this human world, when we make grasping and fighting actions, it is just like jackals, wolves, tigers, and leopards, people will dislike you, will not like you. What are we fighting for? Dear ones, think about it, just like when we were little, sitting at the same desk with classmates, we would deliberately draw a line in the middle, this side is mine, you cannot cross over. That side is his, cannot cross over. Once someone crosses the line, anger and quarreling start, sometimes we even fight over things. Fighting makes people feel uncomfortable. Little children forget quickly after fighting, but when we grow up, when adults fight, we don't even need to really fight. One small misunderstanding is enough for two adults to become enemies forever and never interact again. The society we see today is exactly like this. Therefore the immortals and Buddhas compassionately tell us, when we have the heart to fight and grasp, if you have that intention, be careful, it is just like jackals, wolves, tigers, and leopards, their ferocity makes people dislike them and leave you. So dear senior worthies, do we really need to fight? Therefore the immortals and Buddhas tell us, remember, when the world fights for profit and seeks fame, we should seek a name that lasts 10,000 generations, taking a loss is actually gaining advantage. In fact, we don't need to fight with others at all, being able to yield is the highest wisdom. Let us return to the text and continue exploring. 5. When you awaken, it is just like a bright lamp, dispelling darkness that has lasted 10,000 years. Dear senior worthies, when we still didn't understand, sometimes we see it, when we are trying to save people, we see those who haven't awakened yet, sometimes seeing people so attached to one single point, stubbornly stuck there and cannot figure it out, we ourselves were like that too. But when our senior worthies, the ones above us, our guarantors and protectors keep patiently advising and perfecting us, after we enter advanced classes and start studying, cultivating, lecturing, and handling affairs, one day that point we could never break through, because you awakened. Suddenly you realize. At that moment, the immortals and Buddhas compassionately say, so when you awaken, it is just like a bright lamp, dispelling darkness that has lasted 10,000 years. Dear senior worthies, let us look at a mine shaft deep underground. It may have been dark for a very, very long time, but once a lamp goes down, the whole mine immediately becomes bright. So awakening is like a bright lamp, able to dispel darkness that has lasted 10,000 years. Dear senior worthies, let us return to the text and continue exploring. 6. That when you are confused and lost, it is just like a lone boat drifting with the waves. Dear senior worthies, when we are confused, when we don't know east, south, west, north, when we stand at a crossroads and don't know which way to go, dear senior worthies, aren't we just like a lone boat drifting with the waves? If the wind blows east, you go east, isn't that such a pity? So dear senior worthies, let us look at how the character, me, confused, is written, the me of confusion, the me of losing one's way, standing at a crossroads, being confused by wine, sex, wealth, and chi, not knowing which way to go, that is the confused me, the lost me. Therefore the immortals and Buddhas compassionately tell us, when we are confused, we are just like a lone boat drifting at the mercy of the waves. So dear senior worthies, why do we have to keep attending advanced classes, keep going to higher advanced classes? Because in continuously attending advanced classes, we temper ourselves, encourage ourselves, so that we will not have moments of confusion. Dear senior worthies, what do people fear most sometimes? The immortals and Buddhas compassionately tell us, we do not fear the arising of ignorance, we only fear awakening too late. We do not fear ignorance arising, we only fear that your awareness, reflection, and returning the light comes too slowly. So dear senior worthies, it's okay to be confused, but you must quickly realize and awaken, otherwise, drifting like a lone boat with the waves is extremely dangerous, you may sink at any moment. So everyone please be careful. Let us return to the text and continue exploring. 7. When you give and dedicate, you can transform barrenness into a paradise realm. Dear senior worthies, to relinquish is to gain, to relinquish is to gain. We ordinary people all think about it, but sometimes we can't gain. Why? Look, the sages who created the characters tell us, to relinquish is to gain, only when there is relinquishing can there be gaining, if there is no relinquishing, there is no gaining. So the immortals and Buddhas compassionately tell us, how do we cross out barrenness? The simplest way is dedication. Perhaps you'll feel it strange, I'm already so poor, I have nothing left, what else can I dedicate? So the immortals and Buddhas compassionately tell us, when we come to the Buddha hall, we can practice wealth giving, dharma giving, and fearlessness giving, these three kinds of giving are all dedication. So when we dedicate, you are naturally taking from the light and replenishing in the dark, and the immortals and Buddhas will replenish us. Dear senior worthies, people say, our almsgiving, the dedication of our money and wealth, is just like water in a well, heaven replenishes it in the dark. Look at the water in that well, the underground water, no matter how much we draw out, heaven in its compassion will still refill it completely. So dear senior worthies, this is why we must inspire wisdom. When we inspire wisdom, many of our thoughts and views become different from the cleverness that ordinary people know. Clever people think, I want to possess more, possess better. But when you possess more, dear senior worthies, when you possess more, actually what we lose becomes even more. So we see so many cases, some retired people, we see many retired elders, once they retire, many of them very quickly fall apart, leave, pass away, return to emptiness. It's really strange. Later we investigated and understood, dear senior worthies, people say that only when we are dedicating, dear senior worthies, you must remember there's a saying in Minnan, Taiwanese Hokkien, Jin Bi Seng Seng, Chu Su Su. It's said in Minnan, or if we translate it into Mandarin, before a person is even born, death is already written. That means the script is already written, how much you will eat in this lifetime is already destined. This is an eternal law passed down by the elders in Minnan dialect. So from this we can discover that perhaps in this lifetime, whatever we are fated to possess is just that much. Once you possess exactly enough, be careful, danger comes. This is why we must dedicate, why we must give, why we must fulfill vows. When we continuously dedicate, give, and fulfill vows, we keep ourselves with a little bit of shortage, a little bit of insufficiency, heaven in its compassion will come secretly to replenish us. Then we keep giving again, and heaven keeps replenishing, so in this state of never enough, we can widely form good affinities and connect with a great many people. This wisdom is truly worth pondering and understanding. Therefore, when you dedicate, you can transform barrenness into a paradise realm. Let us return to the text and continue exploring. 8. Every single instant contains countless changes that drive the operation of the universe. Dear senior worthies, the human world is already very mysterious, the universe is even more mysterious. In every single instant, there are so many changes. Dear ones, the changes of the universe are like this, exactly like this. Our human mind thoughts also change in exactly the same way. Therefore the immortals and Buddhas compassionately tell us, every single instant contains countless changes that drive the operation of the universe. Therefore every single one of our arising thoughts and movements of mind is extremely important. Every arising thought and movement of mind must be positive and proactive. Only when it is positive and proactive can the waves we send out drive the universe to produce good cycles, positive cycles, proactive cycles. Dear senior worthies, let us return to the text and continue exploring. 9. Every tomorrow contains countless unknowns waiting to challenge the people of the world. Dear senior worthies, yesterday has already become the past, tomorrow is the future, only today is the most important. Therefore the immortals and Buddhas compassionately tell us, every tomorrow contains countless unknowns. How many unknowns tomorrow holds we do not know, so we must welcome the challenge. Tomorrow is for every person in the whole world to face it, to challenge it. Are you prepared enough? Do you possess the ability to meet the challenge? Therefore, dear senior worthies, the immortals and Buddhas compassionately tell us, every tomorrow contains countless unknowns waiting to challenge the people of the world. In the midst of challenge, we continuously grow and progress. Let us return to the text and continue exploring. 10. Every life is led forward by countless causes and conditions. Dear senior worthies, every life is produced by countless causes and conditions, so within those countless causes and conditions, dear senior worthies, they are all leading us forward. Look at our white sun period. We must carry out the three realms' universal salvation, save above the vast starry seas, save in the middle all living beings under heaven, below save the ghostly souls in the netherworld. Therefore every life, every being among the three realms that we must save, possesses countless causes and conditions. It is precisely because of those countless causes and conditions that we are naturally led. Every senior worthy is led to open wilderness all over the world, to sow seeds, leading every senior worthy who is willing to shoulder the mission to go everywhere in the world to save and transform sentient beings. Therefore the immortals and Buddhas compassionately tell us, every life has countless causes and conditions leading our footsteps forward. Let us return to the text and continue exploring. 11. Every stage contains countless matters reminding us to let our thoughts settle and precipitate. Dear senior worthies, no matter which stage you are in, heaven in its compassion always has countless things reminding us, letting our thinking continuously settle and precipitate. In that precipitation, we continuously reflect. That is what allows us to keep progressing. Dear senior worthies, heaven in its compassion has given us the chance to study, cultivate, lecture, and handle Tao affairs. That is why every day we must have morning, noon, and evening self-examination. In those morning, noon, and evening self-examinations, we are constantly reminding, reflecting, repenting, letting thoughts settle and precipitate. Therefore, dear senior worthies, the immortals and Buddhas compassionately tell us, every stage contains countless matters reminding us to let our thinking settle and precipitate. Let us continue returning to the text and continue exploring. 12. Every role contains countless situations that polish our mind nature toward perfect roundness. Dear senior worthies, in the entire operation of our Tao temple, every one of us has our own duties, every one of us plays our respective roles. Perhaps we only play the role of a tiny screw, but the immortals and Buddhas compassionately tell us, no matter which role you play, there are countless situations. We must train the mind through affairs, we must, through playing every role, reach perfect roundness. In that roundness, there are many situations polishing us, letting us train the mind through affairs so that we reach the perfect roundness of mind nature. Therefore the immortals and Buddhas compassionately tell us, every role contains countless situations polishing our mind nature toward perfect roundness. Let us return to the text and explore. Every difficulty contains countless intentions sustaining our resolve to remain firm and constant forever. Dear senior worthies, every difficulty contains countless intentions sustaining us so that our aspiration remains firm, our aspiration remains constant forever. Dear senior worthies, people say, every pass is difficult, yet every pass can be passed. Every difficulty is meant to let us grow, meant to let us progress. Therefore, dear senior worthies, when obstacles come, when difficulties come, this is heaven's compassion. Adverse conditions are precisely the conditions for advancement, afflictions are bodhi. Therefore the immortals and Buddhas compassionately tell us, every difficulty contains countless intentions sustaining the constancy and firmness of our aspiration. So dear senior worthies, when difficulties come, find every way to break through. When you break through, you have grown again, you have progressed again. Let us return to the text and continue exploring. Every heavenly duty has countless powers assisting us to shoulder its mission. Dear senior worthies, no matter which position we hold, which heavenly duty we bear, there are countless powers helping us to take up the mission of that heavenly duty. Dear senior worthies, it's just like when we take on the heavenly duty of lecturer, taking on this duty, heaven in its compassion allows us to perform dharma giving, to form affinities together with vast predestined sentient beings, to teach and learn from each other. Everything is heaven's compassion. If it were not for heaven's compassion, how could we have the ability to shoulder this mission? Therefore the immortals and Buddhas compassionately tell us, every heavenly duty, whether playing the role of altar master, the role of lecturer, the role of group leader, or even the role of a teacher who bears the heavenly mandate, dear senior worthies, every heavenly duty has countless powers helping us, assisting us, so that we can shoulder the mission and complete the mission entrusted by heaven. Believe in heaven, believe in yourself, just relax, behind us there are countless powers helping us. Heaven in its compassion also continuously adds more inspiration and adds more wisdom to us. Let us return to the text and continue exploring. Every vow power has countless trusts and entrustments urging our ideals to come true. Dear senior worthies, when we make vows, dear ones, when you make a vow to do this matter, actually behind it there are already countless trusts and entrustments urging us to realize the ideal. When you bear the heavenly duty of altar master and you made that vow, after you establish the altar, naturally that Buddha hall of yours will save predestined sentient beings in the surrounding area. Countless predestined sentient beings place their trust on your Dharma boat so that, because of your establishing the altar, they can reach the shore. Therefore, dear senior worthies, every single vow power of ours, when you are willing to go abroad to open wilderness, the moment that vow power to sow seeds is sent out, dear senior worthies, invisibly there are countless trusts and entrustments urging and making our ideals able to come true. Let us return to the text and continue exploring. Every place contains countless profound mysteries fulfilling sentient beings return to their original source. Dear senior worthies, just look at every place, especially when we walk the path of study, cultivation, lecturing, and handling Tao affairs, and we reach this critical juncture, this exact timing. How many manifestations heaven shows in compassion, how many inconceivable things happen. So every place contains countless profound mysteries. Heaven in compassion is fulfilling sentient beings, letting them return to their original source. Dear senior worthies, it is not that our human power is so great, but rather heaven's compassion, heaven and humans united as one, together handling the great matter of the final tribulation, the universal salvation of the three realms. Therefore, dear senior worthies, the immortals and Buddhas compassionately tell us, every place contains countless profound mysteries fulfilling sentient beings return to their original source. Let us return to the text and continue exploring. 17. Every Tao center has countless extraordinary talents supporting the expansion of Tao affairs. Dear senior worthies, every Tao center has countless talents specially sent by heaven in compassion, we call them extraordinary talents, who support the expansion of Tao affairs. Look, sometimes we go to a foreign country, a completely unfamiliar place, language different, culture different, race different, yet when we go abroad to open wilderness, heaven in compassion manifests, many predestined sentient beings naturally, automatically come to help, lend a hand, help the Tao Center accomplish this great cause and affinity. Therefore the immortals and Buddhas compassionately tell us, every Tao Center has countless extraordinary talents supporting the expansion of Tao affairs, supporting the entire operation of our Tao Center. Dear senior worthies, are you an extraordinary talent of the Tao Center? You must tell yourself, I am exactly that. This junior student is exactly that. We must shoulder the mission, shoulder the expansion of Tao affairs, and for the expansion of Tao affairs, if not me, then who? We must have this kind of grand mission. Dear senior worthies, please remember, if not me, then who? Let us return to the text and continue exploring. 18. A steadfast person will not have a wavering heart, a compassionate person will not have a complaining or annoyed heart, a greatly courageous person will not have a fearful heart, a person who shoulders heavy responsibility will not have an easy, relaxed heart. Dear senior worthies, heaven in compassion, regarding the wisdom inspired by our mind and thoughts, heaven in compassion tells us, you are a steadfast person, you will not have a wavering heart, because we have already firmly set our direction and march toward the goal. The moment you waver, you waste time. Therefore the immortals and Buddhas compassionately tell us, a steadfast person, we will not have a wavering heart, we definitely will not have a slack heart, we will go all out. We are all compassionate persons, we will not have a complaining or annoyed heart. Dear senior worthies, do parents ever feel annoyed with their children's love? They do not feel annoyed or complain, they are selfless. So when we have a compassionate heart, naturally we are like parents toward children, completely impartial, caring in every detail, you will not have a complaining or annoyed heart. A greatly courageous person will not have a fearful heart, especially when we go abroad to open wilderness and sow seeds, arriving in a completely unfamiliar place, you must have great courage and aspiration, you must have a fearless heart. Heaven in compassion says you are a greatly courageous person, so you will not have a fearful heart, you dare to step out. A person who shoulders heavy responsibility will not have an easy, relaxed heart. You bear great responsibility, you carry heavy responsibility on your shoulders, you know perfectly well it is not easy, but this is the best opportunity for us to fulfill our vows and return home. Therefore, dear senior worthies, a steadfast person will not have a wavering heart, a compassionate person will not have a complaining heart, a greatly courageous person will not have a fearful heart, a person of heavy responsibility will not have an easy heart. Blessings to everyone. Thank you, everyone.